everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining in for this Ask Me Anything session. My name is Shishir Gupta. I'm the founder and CEO of Startup Things. I'll be happy to take all your questions starting from now. But before we start, I have a request for you. Kindly limit your question to 1 to 1.5 minutes so that I can answer at least 12 to 15 questions. And I'll try to limit my answers also so that everybody can get a fair chance. And please switch on your video, keep your video on while you ask the questions at least. I would recommend if you keep the video on for the entire meeting. But else, at least while you ask the question, keep the video on. So, Anjali, who's asking first?
Yes, sir. Dr. Sanjay Parwa, you can go first.
Hi, Dr.
Shishir.
Parwa. How are you?
How are you?
Good.
Thank you so much.
Sir.
Thank you so much. God bless you. This is the first time I have spoken on one of your sessions. I have joined 2 Fridays, and this is the first Tuesday, and I am the first feeling lucky.
That's an honor.
Shishir, actually, mine too, sir. Thank you so much. God bless you. Actually, I have been with this startup thing. I worked with startups and all that. और एक चीज समझ में आ गई इतने सालों में कि if you a startup or if say for example an app that you want to make has a revenue model, तो उस पे लोग बाग इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं because they expect money in return. अब मेरे पास कुछ एक आइडियाज हैं जिसमें मुझे खुद को भी पैसा उसमें से नहीं कमाना चाहता हूँ. It's a philanthropic idea so that you match the recipient with the donor and get out of the way. मतलब नॉर्मल लाइफ में मैंने ऐसा बहुत बार किया है and the satisfaction at the end of the day is amazing. वो शायद बयान नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन दिक्कत ये है कि जब मैं कुछ बनाने की सोचता हूँ तो सबसे पहले आता है कि इसमें मान लीजिए 2 लाख रुपए लग जाएंगे, 1 लाख रुपए लगेगा, वो कहाँ से आएगा. अब मैं जब इन्वेस्टर को या आपको या किसी को भी बोलता हूँ कि साहब मुझे इसमें कुछ नहीं कमाना है और ये है ही इस चीज पे आधारित कि जो बनाने वाला कुछ नहीं कमाएगा लेकिन लोगों की सहायता हो. जैसे आप मदद करते हैं लोगों की तो आप बीच में कुछ नहीं एक्सपेक्ट करते ना. इसी तरह से अगर मैं एक टेक प्लेटफॉर्म बनाना चाहता हूं कि बनाने वाला इस चीज से खुश हो जाए कि किसी की कहीं ना कहीं मदद इंडिया में या कहीं बाहर हो गई, तो इस चीज को कैसे मैं हैंडल करूं. ये चीज मैं बना इसलिए नहीं पा रहा हूं क्योंकि मेरे पास बेसिक पैसा भी जी.
इसमें पहला स्टेप जो लेना पड़ेगा वो एक एनजीओ का लेना पड़ेगा. आपको एक सेक्शन 8 कंपनी फॉर्म करनी है और उसमें आपको कुछ सेक्शन 8 कंपनी भी वैसी होती है जैसे डायरेक्टर एक प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी होती है, बट इट इज अ न्यू फॉर्म ऑफ ट्रस्ट. तो जैसे ट्रस्ट होती थी सेक्शन 1860 के अंडर जो ट्रस्ट एक्ट था उसमें ट्रस्टी होते थे, तो ऐसा ही है. बट इसमें आपको फायदा है क्योंकि इसकी ऑडिट होती है. यू कैन गेट मनी फ्रॉम अब्रॉड ऑल्सो, तो उसके बाद आप डोनेशंस ले सकते हैं लीगली. और जब ये फॉर्म कर लेंगे तो आई एम देयर. मैं अपनी पूरी कोशिश करूंगा कि आपको 2, 2.5 लाख 3 लाख जो भी उसमें इकट्ठे करने हैं या 5 लाख भी करने हैं तो करेंगे. बाय गॉड्स ग्रेस कोशिश करी तो लोगों के लिए 5-5 करोड़ भी इकट्ठे हो गए कॉज के लिए. तो आई विल पुट इन माय एफर्ट्स. लेट्स सी. करने वाला ऊपर वाला है. कुछ आपको भी पुण्य मिलेगा, कुछ मुझे भी मिलेगा.
हाँ, मुझे इतना ही चाहिए. हालांकि इट्स नॉट दैट कि आई एम रिच एट माय ओन प्लेस, मैं भी मोहताजी हूँ, लेकिन दैट इज अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी. वो हर एक जिंदगी में ऐसा दौर आता है. That doesn't limit my capability to do something for the entire humanity. So do I share the idea with you?
कर लेंगे.
बहुत बढ़िया.
और आपका ये टेक्नोलॉजी भी मैं बनवा दूंगा एट अपने किसी जान पहचान वाले को बोल के राइट प्राइस में, जो कुछ ज्यादा प्राइस भी ना ले. और 15-20 हजार रुपए आपका शायद ये एनजीओ बनाने में लगेगा. अगर उसमें भी कोई चैलेंज आ रहा हो तो वो भी आप मुझे बताइएगा. तो 15-20 हजार रुपए पहले इकट्ठे करा देंगे क्राउड फंडिंग कैंपेन बना के. उसके बाद फिर फाउंडेशन क्रिएट करते हैं और फिर आगे ये सब मैं आपके साथ.
तो एनजीओ बनाना जरूरी है इस चीज के लिए?
सर एनजीओ इसलिए जरूरी है क्योंकि हिसाब किताब कैसे देंगे. हाउ वुड यू people will doubt, right? Government will doubt, everybody will doubt upon individual, but when it is an NGO there will be an audit.
सर जी गिरीश अग्रवाल बोल रहा हूँ
मैं समझता हूँ. जस्ट गिरीश जी 2 मिनट में 30 सेकंड में खत्म करता हूँ. शिशिर जी अब मान लीजिए इसमें ट्रांजैक्शनल कोई है ही नहीं कंपोनेंट. इट इज जस्ट गेटिंग पीपल, मीट पीपल एंड हेल्प देम एंड कम आउट ऑफ इट. तो भी एनजीओ बनाना पड़ेगा?
सर पैसा तो चाहिए ना, और एक स्ट्रक्चर तो चाहिए। अगर अच्छा काम भी है ना,
बेसिक बना।
आज की डेट में हम मंदिर भी बनाते हैं, तो मंदिर के लिए भी पैसा चाहिए, तो उसमें भी एक ट्रस्ट बनती है। दिस इज गुड। अगर आप अच्छा कुछ सोच रहे हैं, वी शुड क्रिएट अ बेस फ्रॉम टुडे ओनली एंड देन वी कैन स्केल इट अप। और पता भी नहीं चलेगा कितने अच्छे अच्छे लोग जुड़ जाएंगे, दे विल सपोर्ट इट एंड मेक इट स्ट्रॉन्गर। तो आप सूत्रधार बनिए, यू बिकम द सीड फॉर इट एंड देन लेट्स सी, बहुत अच्छा होगा। कोई भी अच्छा काम सोच के निकलते हैं तो फिर अच्छा ही करेंगे।
इसी के लिए बोल रहा था मैं।
बहुत बढ़िया, थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट।
प्लेजर।
जी आप कुछ बता रहे थे।
आप अनम्यूट करिए फिर बताइए। आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही सर, यू आर नॉट ऑडिबल। अच्छा, आई थिंक इनके साथ कोई टेक्निकल इशू हो गया है। ओके अंजलि, who's next?
Yes, sir. Mr. Gautam Nayak, you can go next.
Yes, sir. This is the first time I'm attending a session, and I'm more than happy got a chance to actually ask a question. Sir, being a student, it is we get so many ideas regarding to start startups, etc. So for us, it is like very difficult to actually maintain your academics and also launch your product, right? So is it possible that based on the ideation round and based on the idea itself, before you have a already established product in which you have already put out, is it possible to get funding for the product which you want to actually launch without actually having any prototype before?
That's right. That is possible, and that investment comes from 3F: friends, family, and fools. Now, fools might, make you laugh, but those are the people who have the money, but they don't know you much. They take risk, utter risk, on the basis of your idea, concept, or people who refer you or recommend you, right? But you should be able to raise from your own family, from your mom, dad, uncle, auntie, relative, neighbors, everybody. Why? Because that is how all companies are made, right? If you go back and see the history of all great companies, they have raised through this way. If you believe on your idea, the first investor should be your own family members, then your friends, and everybody should give you funds. They will definitely. Suppose you raise 1 lakh rupees through that way, that's okay. And while you approach an external investor with that 1 lakh rupees in your hand or maybe some prototype, those investors will be happy to put in funds with you because you already have trust of your known ones. But if you don't have trust of your known ones, then it becomes difficult. That means you have not got a very good reputation. And in today's time, the most important currency is your reputation, right? Expensive than Bitcoin, more precious, because you can buy anything from this, right? So you need to build your reputation. If you have taken money in the past, have you returned on time, people trust you, especially your family members. They trust that you will do good with their money. They will definitely fund you. And with that, you can build a prototype and approach angel investors, and they will definitely be happy to put in funds.
And I have one more question, sir. Sir, I have actually participated in many of these pitch deck competitions of colleges, etc., just to hone our skills. What, in your opinion, is a good pitch deck? I mean, what all areas should it cover? Like, what all boxes should it tick, such that it's a good pitch deck and it is very.
I have written a complete article on it. That will be, and that's a very comprehensive article, including, I have mentioned about colors, I have mentioned about fonts. You go to Startup Lanes and you will find a section called funding, right? Either you go to that particular section and read that out, you will find one link to pitch deck, right? Else, you want to skip that step, you go to services and check pitch deck section, right? You will find a very comprehensive article written by me, and it has everything.
Yes. And one last question, sir. This is not related to anything startup, but which is that Indian startup you would take a bet on, or you feel is going to go a long way in the future during taking the current circumstances?
So, I am also a founder just like others. And if I have to, put in my money, I will definitely put in startup lanes 100 times.
Okay.
Because I don't believe in any other startup more than my own startup. And that is pretty fine and pretty obvious. As a founder, I should and I am expected to do that. Before SL, I was investing into different companies and I have invested also, right? But in today's date, I love what I'm doing, and this has scalability, so I would not take any names except my own.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering the questions comprehensively.
Pleasure. Okay, who's next? Anjali?
Yes, Mr. Neil Bindi, you can go next, and would request you to switch on your camera if possible.
Hi Shishir,
Hi, Neil.
Neil here. We are actually connected on LinkedIn in the past month or so now. So I am basically the Chief Operating Officer for Visionary Life Sciences Private Limited. So this is a early stage bootstrap startup in the health tech space, and I have joined these people around 7 or 8 months back. Now before I had joined in, none of the prototypes and nothing was ready. In the last 7-8 months, what I've been able to do is we have come to a stage where we conducted a soft launch in the month of March. And after doing the soft launch, we realized that there were certain technical glitches in some of the features. So now in the past 2 months, we have modified all of that and corrected all of that. And we are now on the process of launching our app in the market, hopefully by this month end or early July. So in the last 3 months, Shishir, what I've been doing is I've been making pitch presentations to potential investors, and we are looking for 2 million USD of funding, and I've also registered and sent the pitch deck on your website also, but I'm actually yet to receive a call from your team. But having said that, in the last 3 months, my experience with these potential investors is on 2 levels. So one of the levels is, just to give you an example, in my view, startup requires a lot of money, a lot of funding, right from the word go. Why is it then that the evaluation of your pitch deck is typically done by freshers, freshers either from the CFA Institute or freshers who are chartered accountants, but largely the CFA. So, when the importance of money in a startup is so profound, why is the eligibility being evaluated by a fresher? So that's my question number 1.
Okay. See, technically what happens is, if suppose I'll take my own case, I receive 1600 emails every day, or sometimes more than that. This is the average of last 1 year I'm talking about. You go to my LinkedIn, I receive the same amount of messages, 1500, 1600 messages every day, right? The demand and supply gap is huge, and everybody, even somebody coming out of school, approaches me and say, sir, I need funding, just on the idea. So how would a senior person or an experienced person check out each and every deal individually? That is not technically possible, to be very honest. Then if you engage investment bankers who are really experienced, this is the industry which has highest level of salaries, right? So on an average, if you check on Glassdoor, you will find investment bankers get approximately 3.5 lakh to 6 lakh rupees of salary per month. Now, do you expect a person getting 6 lakh rupees of salary or even 3 lakh rupees of salary per month, checking the pitch decks, out of which 500 pitch deck you check, you might not be able to shortlist even 5. So ultimately the option is to give it to the first line people who are coming fresh, train them and tell them, to evaluate the decks and submit it to level 2, and then level 2 submits to the level 3. But in this, what happens is sometimes the content is good, the product is good, but your design might be bad, right? Just because of that, it might get rejected at level 1 itself. So there is no other way. This is happening with all the companies, with all the angel networks and venture capitals. they don't. The volume is really very high, right? The moment a funding happens, it spreads like fire. Everybody gets to know about it, and then everybody starts sending. Even I'll tell you one little known fact. One company gets funded, almost 80% of their staff start dreaming about raising funds and starting their startup. Now all of them will build their pitch deck silently. Side by side, they will start approaching the investors. Right? So you can't stop it, and that is good for the country. But this is increasing hell lot of volumes, hell lot of pressure upon investment banking firms, hell lot of pressure upon the VCs. Okay.
So is this happening? Is this process only followed in India or even abroad, where the entry level freshers only do the evaluation of a pitch deck? Because I'm a little concerned ki how does a fresher understand, or is he or she matured enough to evaluate the concept or the overall vision of the founder? Because you would require maturity, you would require overall experience level of a person to understand what we are trying to drive, right? So how would that be defined by an entry level graduate?
See, it is like entering the TCS office as a CEO, but there is a security guard who allows you to get inside, right?
Yeah, right.
Everybody has a value. If he does not open the door, then you might not be able to enter, right?
Right.
So that is very important, and everybody must have started fresh. So everybody has the right to learn, and that is why this industry. But I'm talking about abroad. In abroad, they have developed better tools. Like Startup Lanes is a partner for world's largest e-commerce investor called Clearbank.
Okay.
So Clearbank has developed its own tools. They will give you a portal, like we have a partner portal. We'll give you a link. We will be logging through Startup Lanes, and after going there, you have to self-assess. They will connect with your bank account. Obviously, this is not for Indian startups. They can't have this access. But for US startups, they can connect with your bank account. They will connect with your Google Analytics account. So both these two factors will give you a right valuation and will show the real picture. And that is how they can issue you term sheet without any person, without a pitch deck, without pitching in 20 minutes. Nobody has ever imagined about it, but they are doing it.
Okay.
Right, so they can give you a term sheet within 20 minutes without any human intervention. You just have to sign the term sheet and the money might come automatically without any human checking it. So that is the system they have developed. Unfortunately, we are their partners, but they don't have such licenses in India, so they cannot invest in India directly. So what we do is we ask the startup to register in US, and then we are offering them. And you can also do that. Everybody is most welcome. Unfortunately, we don't want that, but this is so unfortunate that they don't have the license, so they cannot invest in India directly, and they are investing automated entire system. There are companies in India that has come on the same model. We have tied up with them also, but it might take them approximately a year to two to automate this system. It's not that easy, The level of fraud, the level of people here is different from the level of people in US, right? So that's about it.
So how can Startup Lanes support this startup for where I'm engaged with, where we are looking for $2 million, and I've already registered on your website. So how do we take that forward? Because because though I'm the chief operating officer and I have two able founders above me, I'm not saying, or we are not saying that we are experts in our field, right? So we would definitely require incubators, we would definitely require mentors, we would definitely require any kind of guidance that is required in order to streamline the prototype or streamline the strategy, the go-to-market strategy and stuff like that. So, our overall requirement might be $2 million today, but I don't want that entire money on day one. So if there is a way, for us to work together, Shishir, I would really appreciate that.
See, the most common misconception people have in India especially, and those who approach us, is that everybody wants big ticket funding in first run, which is not possible. Even big companies like Ola, they raised in step-by-step method. And I'll give you an example. Maybe according to you, your company might be valued 4 million, right? Maybe according to the investor, it might be valued 2 million. Now, if you raise 2 million for a company valued at 2 million, you end up 100% equity throwing, right?
Right.
So this is not possible.
Correct.
Even what we suggested in the first round itself, you cannot give more than 10% equity. If you have to, then go till 16%. Don't go beyond that. Because the company will eventually fail later on. You might lose out the control, right? So that money will not be helping you anyway. The right way to do this is go step by step. First raise 25 lakhs, then raise 50 lakhs, then raise 1 crore, then 1.5 crore, and gradually utilize this money, increase the valuation, show the investors, build their confidence that you can invest the money, because investing the money is also very, very important thing. I have seen people, and this is real life. I am telling you, this has happened 5 days ago, 10 days ago. After funding, they buy BMWs and Audis first.
Yeah.
Right. And they just think that funding is the way to their luxury of life. They dream about their own luxuries. They buy everything from the company then, right? Even if they have to buy Nike shoes, they will buy through the company.
Yeah.
And so investors are not fools. That is why, especially for India is a very fast growing country, but investors want to inspect and see how you are utilizing this money in step-by-step method. So if you might be amazed, but we were doing this average. The average ticket size of well-known investors like Ratan Tata came to be 3 to 4 lakhs, and that is very good strategy. It's not like 3 to 4 lakh is a small amount, but this way, if Ratan Tata's name adds, it adds a lot of value in terms of the brand, right? So this is good. Good investors, they put in small amount of funds, they wait, and then they again invest in the second round, third round, fourth round, like that. I'll tell you one more misconception that everybody have. Instead of whenever somebody approach us, wherever, social media or somebody sending me email or WhatsApp, the first thing they expect is that I will talk to them for almost an hour or so and understand the data, which is not technically possible. And to filter out, I have to keep a fee, because there is only one Shishir Gupta in the organization, and if 1600 people, or let it be only 60 people contact me and I have to talk to them, I will literally die. Not possible. So I have kept a filtration, and then they feel offended that why should I pay a consultancy fee or something like that. Are you towards 1500? Somebody messaged me just recently, and he said, I doubt you will be, really looking for raising funds for anybody. You are just towards consultancy fee. No, it is not like that. Why we have to filter out, right? If somebody is really serious, that I will pay and come to me. But if it is a common task that my team can do, let the team do it, right? If the pitch deck advisory has to be done, then let the team do it. So follow the system. In India especially, we want to skip the line, right? वो अमिताभ बच्चन वाला है ना, हम जहाँ खड़े हो जाते हैं लाइन वहीं शुरू हो जाती है, और यहाँ हर बंदा अमिताभ बच्चन है इंडिया में. So they just want to start the line from there, and that is hampering. वो सारा काम खराब कर देता है. We should not do like that. We should follow the process. Nobody is interested in applying. बोलते हैं आप ऑनलाइन जाके अप्लाई नहीं करेंगे, हम तो ईमेल भेज देंगे, पिच डेक देख लो हमारी. That's not possible until and unless it goes into the system. Our quality department don't even have the access. We cannot maintain the quality. हम चेक ही नहीं कर सकते. आप किसी को मेल भेज दो मेरे स्टाफ में, या व्हाट्सएप कर दो, right? I cannot. This is a privacy issue. We cannot go into anybody's personal WhatsApp account and check whether you have sent the pitch deck or not. But when it goes to the system, the system automatically has a check. The quality department will check it, that it has to be called, it has to be replied. In case after applying you don't get a call, then also we are building another support department, complaint department. Might be because of say connectivity, might be because of other issues you might have not received.
Yeah.
So we are building level 1, level 2 complaints, a separate department, so that anybody who has not received a response, we have 100% response policy, even if it is a job seeker, even for everything, whether the money is coming or not, irrespective of that, we have a policy internally to reply every person, because eventually they will reach me out. I am so active on social media, they will reach me out and my team will get caught. So they will definitely reply. In case communication gap is there, let me know, or we will build very soon, in 2-3 days we are coming up with that support system. So one email, and we will definitely, it will reach out to the higher quality department, and we will ensure everybody gets a call on time.
All right, Shishir. Thank you so much, man. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Who's next?
Yes, sir. Mr. Vinod Nayak, you can go next.
Hi Shishir, Vinod here. Yeah, actually we've been in contact through LinkedIn for quite a long time. This is actually, I was really surprised that, the first person who spoke, I was actually talking on the same lines, but however, the concept which I'm having it's not only limited to doing a charity, wherein it has certain business benefit as well. So I did a first step what you have mentioned, that starting up a Section 8 form, which I did. I've already applied for 12A, which I got it last week. I'll be applying for ATG next week, because now because of the lockdown it's not happening. Otherwise I would have already applied for ATG. Now the concept which I need to put it across, I have the narrative ready, but I'm bit I don't know whether it's I don't know how to actually create a good pitch deck there. So wanted some help on that. And in terms of investment, how does that really work with Section 8 companies, wherein it can give them returns, but not on the profits, right? Because from Section 8 company they cannot get the profits, but whatever the investment they can they do it, that can be returned back as well. So just wanted your guidance on how to proceed on that.
See, technically there is no legal system in India to raise funds from angel investors for a Section 8 company or any charity or any trust. This does not come under angel investment. This does not come under venture capital investment. So the only route left for you is to go by without return, without the expectations kind of investment that you receive, which is called donation. Right.
Okay.
This is not investment, and a company that cannot issue shares to investors or does not have a profit objective is not supposed to have a commercial motive or show any commercial motive. So I would recommend you to go by the social objective only. You create a crowdfunding campaign, which is pretty much allowed in India, and start raising from people who support, who want to support and don't want anything in return. Because offering anything in return for a charity or for a trust, this becomes illegal.
Yeah, but whether for a Section 8 you can return you can actually take it as a loan on a zero interest and you can return it back, if I'm not wrong.
But why would anybody give you a loan on zero interest? Right? Either that person, see, it's like if I go to temple and I donate 100 rupees, I do not expect these 100 rupees to come back to me with interest, right? I will not say, God, take these 100 rupees and give me with interest or return me 0%. No. Because I believe, I'm doing this, right? And that's how, if somebody believes on the cause, that person will not expect anything to come out of it. And charities as a cause, right? So you must be doing something which is good for the society. And there are good people all around. So if they want to support you, needless, I was not trying to discuss this, but because I have to, if I don't, then this will become complicated. There are so many charity organizations, they take money in donations and they return back in cash. They are avoiding tax, right? No, I'm not talking about you.
I know that.
So do not ask for any such kind of donations which has a purpose. Else you might be considered as a scammer or something like that, or getting into the tax avoidance. So NGOs should only take donations with no promises. Tell them this money is not going to come back to you. This money will be utilized for the purpose only, right? And in case you want to have crowdfunding campaign for a commercial purpose, and if you are not able to do that in India, float a company in US, go to Kickstarter, raise funds in a crowdfunding platform, and that's about it. And this works. If the product is good, you can raise funds for anything. That is very, very quick and fast.
Like you talk about Kickstarter in US, register in US.
You have to raise a company. You have to float a company in Delaware first, because you cannot raise. Indian companies can't raise funds from Kickstarter.
Okay. Can I get some help on that? How do I need to do it? Because this is one thing which I'm quite interested to get into.
Yeah, so that will cost you around between $500 to $1,000. Out of which, if you open a bank account in US, some banks are ready to pay you the amount of expenses that you have incurred on the incorporation. Right. So this amount, I opened a company with my cousin, and Chase Bank gave us $1,000 out of our expenses. So we spent almost $750 and they gave us $1,000. So in fact, it was more than what we spent.
Okay, can I get some help where I can go or how I can?
Yeah, so we don't have a direct tie-up right now, but we were exploring this tie-up because so might be next month. There are a couple of follow-ups going on because we don't know which company is genuine and which is not so genuine in US. So that is why we are doing our due diligence. Once this tie-up happens, then Startup Lanes can facilitate it here from India itself. All right. Thank you so much. Anjali, who's next?
Yes, sir. Search Udri.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hi, Utsa. Good morning.
Yeah, good afternoon. Sorry. Okay, I actually am a marketing coordinator in one of the companies, and we are also trying to. We are planning an education startup, tying up with a coaching institute in Arunachal Pradesh. For that, we will apply to your company to Startup Lanes only. So my question to you is that, like, what is the tentative period that we should target at getting a funding for 15 crores for our education startup?
15 crore funding. Yeah, 15 crore funding will come in a span of 6 months.
And will it
step by step?
Okay, so yeah. So if it like suppose can I use Hindi?
Why not?
तो मेरा ये कहना था कि 15 करोड़ क्योंकि अमाउंट थोड़ा ज्यादा लग रहा है मुझे, मतलब हजारों में नहीं है, करोड़ में अमाउंट है, हमारे लिए काफी ज्यादा है. तो 15 करोड़ मतलब हम मतलब 3 करोड़ ऐसा करके आएगा कि हमारे पास अगर हम, और ये एक एजुकेशन स्टार्टअप है जो सबके लिए, ये मतलब आपका मतलब स्कूल के बच्चों के लिए मतलब हम प्लान कर रहे हैं, और बहुत ही चीप रेट में, जो जितना बाकी कॉम्पिटिटर्स दे रहे हैं उससे काफी चीप रेट में हम प्लान कर रहे हैं. ये
वो ठीक है, पर आपको 15 करोड़ रेज करना है तो आपका 15 करोड़ का रेवेन्यू भी होना चाहिए. अगर आप सोच रहे हो कि आपका रेवेन्यू 1 करोड़ है और आप 15 करोड़ रेज कर लोगे तो बहुत मुश्किल है. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट एनुअल रेवेन्यू. जितना आपका एनुअल रेवेन्यू है जनरली उतना ही रेज करना चाहिए. उससे ज्यादा रेज करने की कोशिश करेंगे तो शायद मुश्किल भी होगी और आपको आपकी बहुत सारी इक्विटी भी चली जाएगी.
अच्छा, जितना एनुअल रेवेन्यू है उसके आसपास का ही रेज करना चाहिए, आप ये कह रहे हैं?
जी, उससे ज्यादा नहीं करना चाहिए.
तो उससे ज्यादा अगर हम करने जाएंगे तो फिर क्या क्या मतलब प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है हमें? क्या क्या
बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है, आपकी कंपनी आपके हाथ से कंट्रोल चला जाएगा. आपके पास इक्विटी नहीं बचेगी क्योंकि आपकी वैल्यूएशन उतनी नहीं होगी. तो
अच्छा अच्छा
फिर कंपनी थोड़ी बेचनी है आपको, फंडिंग लेनी है, कंपनी नहीं बेचनी।
नहीं
You
सर।
end up losing out the control of the company if you raise too much amount. आपके पास ज्यादा से ज्यादा इक्विटी 16% से ज्यादा देनी नहीं चाहिए किसी को एक राउंड में, और एंड तक जाते जाते आपके पास 25% इक्विटी बचनी चाहिए। सो वी हैव टू प्लान आउट लाइक दैट। अगर आप सारी इक्विटी अभी दे देंगे तो आगे जाके आपके पास कुछ बचेगा नहीं, इवेंचुअली आपकी कंपनी को कोई और लोग चला रहे होंगे जो आपने बनाई।
ओके ओके ठीक है सर, थैंक यू सर।
ओके
Yes, Mr. Manu Khanna, you can ask your question.
Hi Shishir, thanks for talking and taking my question. मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि जैसे एक आइडिया आता है, राइट? सो नॉर्मली अगर एक प्रोडक्ट है तो उसको आप प्रोटोटाइप बना सकते हैं, पर एक सर्विस से रिलेटेड अगर एक आइडिया है तो उसको आइडिया को प्रोटोटाइप बनाना जरा मुश्किल होता है, राइट? तो उस केस में कैसे सर्वे करें या कैसे वैलिडेट करें जो जो रेवेन्यू मॉडल है वो कैसे कर सकते हैं?
सबसे पहले तो आपको प्रोडक्ट डेवलप करना है, प्रोडक्ट आउट ऑफ द सर्विस। व्हेन यू बंडल अ सर्विस और व्हेन यू ऑफर अ सर्विस एज अ प्रोडक्ट और अ पैकेज, जो भी आप उसको बोलना चाहो, बट हैज टू बी अ प्रोडक्ट, देन ओनली यू विल बी एबल टू स्टैंडर्डाइज इट, राइट? इफ यू हैव अ टू मच कस्टमाइजेशन अवेलेबल फॉर एवरीवन, then you will be having so much problems in marketing it. You need to create a standard offering. Say for example, just like a private limited company formation is a service in India. Now if you ask a chartered accountant, generally they will say depends. If you ask them the fee, they will say depends, sir, depends. And then there are companies who came, and they removed this word depends and they standardize everything. Okay, you have a company that has to be formed in Maharashtra, capital 1 lakh, 2 directors, so and so, we will charge you this amount. So this becomes definite. It induces and allows the customer to take immediate decision, right? If you ask, say, travel package, भैया ये बताओ मुझे इंडिया से हांगकांग जाना है, 3 दिन के लिए पैकेज कितने का होगा, वो बोलेगा डिपेंड्स, तो उसके चांसेस खत्म। बट इफ ही सेज, सर, if you are going alone, going and coming back, this is the package, we charge you 50,000 rupees all inclusive, including the taxes, then you can take your decision. All you have to do is compare the pricing with the standard features with others, right? And that is how automatically whomsoever is providing homogeneous product at a lesser price, which is called disruption in terms of low end disruption. Price and convenience is low end disruption. So if anybody is disrupting low end, automatically they will get the demand, entire demand shifted. You can't create the demand. In startups we always say demand नहीं बना सकते आप. You have to shift the demand, displace the demand from somewhere. And from where you will be displacing, you will be targeting the market leaders. Market leader से या तो आप सस्ता दे देंगे या फिर market leader से better दे देंगे कुछ in terms of convenience. Do not give a better product. Lot of 99% people who come to me for advisory, they make this mistake. They think we will give a better product. Do you think you go to a customer and say my product is better than Coca-Cola, drink this for 5 rupees? Nobody will buy it. Why?
Right.
Because even if it is better, they will not believe it.
Correct.
So there is a right time. When Netflix founder went to Blockbuster talking about this, then my product is better and this is the model which is far better, which will become successful. Blockbuster's founders laughed, right? And which was obvious. You, till the time is ripe, you should not approach somebody showing the future. You have to talk about what is present, right? If you talk about मैं ये करूँगा, मैं वो करूँगा, especially to the investors, they will never ever believe you. नहीं believe करते. They will ask you, they will judge you on the basis of what you have done. They will not be able to judge you what you will be going to do. And we should not say that. We should build a product, a service as a product, which is a standard offering. Once this is done, then automatically it becomes very, very easy for you to do a POC, because once you can do a Facebook campaign, offer this to people and they might be interested, they would be calling you, and then you can start convincing them, and this will give you feedback also. They will tell you, अरे ये वाली सर्विस तो वो ज़्यादा अच्छी दे रहा है, वो प्राइस ज़्यादा अच्छा दे रहा है, ये दे रहा है, and this will give you the right feedback to develop your product, make it better.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Okay, who's next?
Yes, sir. Sunny Roy, you can go next.
Hi Shishir, good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to ask the question. So, Shishir, I have been listening to your earlier answers, and most of my question is actually clear. But there are some points, some gaps I want to fill. I have a service product. The product is completely ready. We did a pilot in 2 different cities. We got very good results from the supplier side as well as from the consumer end. We also raised funds from friends and family around. We utilized it and we tried to give them back because we saw the market is going stagnant because the industry is hospitality. So we chose also to give back the money that we made during these some months of pilots and everything. Now, as we both would agree that hospitality is kind of in a business which is a scalable business. If you don't have a scalable business, you don't make much of a revenue out of there. So in scaling that, there's a lot of cost which has been occurring. One, while growing physically when you are acquiring new supply, as well as when you are putting word out there in terms of marketing it and trying to get some demand over it. So first of all, how do we establish ourselves in this scenario? And what would be a right way to approach for fundings on these cases?
See, hospitality, if you can drill down, let me know what exactly you are doing in that.
So we are a new hotel chain that we are starting. What the idea is about the entire business, that instead of giving you an option of only 24 hours of booking or giving you an option of only that you have to book for at least 24 hours, and then there is a problem, there is a price war between the hotel partners, that someone is giving a 1500 rupees per night, someone is getting 2000, and they are fighting that who can give cheaper so that I can get more clients. But then they are obviously compromising on the service delivery because they need their revenue out of there. So what we decided that we would not require a complete hotel inventory. We can operate in with 20 inventories, 10 inventories, resell the same rooms multiple times in the day. People going out from one office to another office, people being stuck, people do not also booking their properties or any hotels because they know my flight is 4 hours away. Or they say, okay, I have just couple of hours to stay in this hotel. Why would I spend entire 1 days of...
Just like Stay Uncle, the model is hourly booking, right?
Yes, it's one option. So it is not entirely hourly of booking. That is an option available to you. You want to book it, you can go ahead book it. If you don't want to book it, no problem. There is 24 hours available. That's the main business altogether. But yeah, if you are looking for an option, you are stuck at some city, you don't want to book, your flight is late, your medical condition got somehow changed, your plan changed, you want to extend it, let's say. You booked it for 8 hours or you booked it for 24 hours, but you know my flight is 10 hours late. Extend it for another 10 hours. We have those extension policies as well. It's just to give you the option to choose. It's not your only product that we are focusing on. So it's just an option that we are giving to the consumer. And because in hospitality we are looking at a price war going like hell. We both know that how the price war has gone, 700, 800, 600, and that is where neither the hotel partner is earning any money, because there are some static expenditure that any which ways you will occur when you are in this business. The operation cost you will have to occur.
Okay, let me answer this. I've got the question. See, the scenario everybody knows, hotels are not performing because everybody is afraid. Some hotels have come up with an option where if you are getting bored working from home, work from office or work from hotel. So you treat your hotel room like an office or maybe like an outing. So people are trying that option, but not much. Still they are afraid because COVID is a very serious disease. Let me talk about pre-COVID and post-COVID. What's going to happen is the war was not about acquiring customers on price. The war was actually on the basis of quality. That means having a good perception in the mind of consumers, right? So it's all about perception now, because nobody knows. One Oyo hotel could be very good, one could be very bad, right?
Exactly.
Despite of all the efforts by Oyo, despite of all the efforts by Tribo, you are not able to control it because the local partner might not be giving you the exact picture, right? Sometimes they are not changing the bed sheet as per the OYO guidelines and Tribo guidelines. They have to change the bed sheet, but they are not doing it just to save cost, right?
Yes.
And when customer complains, what maximum an OYO or Tribo or any other company can do, just to refund. That's it, right? And then the customer takes the refund and writes a bad word going online. That's what is happening, and customer will never ever come back also, right? And this you cannot solve in a very easy manner, because we are dealing with humans who are profit maximizers. They don't want social work, right? They want to maximize. The hotel partners, they want to maximize their business. So the moment you go with this partner model, you can't control this. Only option is you go on a FOCO model, franchisee owned and company operated. That means you take over the complete hotel. You have your salaried staff who does it. Then only this could happen, right? That means you are actually sharing the property on profit sharing basis, or maybe you are paying a fixed rental to the property. They will not be operating the property, because if you give the property operations in their hand, this will definitely lose out the quality. If you go back into the history and learn from the McDonald's, that is how they built this model. They were very much concerned about the quality, right? They said, okay, we will not have any kind of franchisees, or even if we will have large scale franchisees, like, the entire North India, McDonald's is operated by one company, Connaught Place Restaurants, right? So similarly, if you have a very large player operating, say, 15 hotels, 20 hotels, that player could actually maintain quality. But if you are dealing with hotels who are just having 20 rooms, 15 rooms, 5 rooms, they will not be able to, because they don't know, right? They might not give you that kind of seriousness or respect. So that is something which industry has to solve, and you have to think about it, brainstorming what way you have to choose.
So we have actually, Shishir, I'll just like to tell you more about this particular point. We have developed a complete program, whereas because we know that in NCR market, if we specifically talk about, around 60% of the hotels that we see are actually operated and run by non-hoteliers. They do not have any professional experience of running a property at all. They just saw this particular property as as an investment option. They saw, I have a commercial lease coming in. Let's go ahead and give this property. Now the operation is completely at a third party. Either it is sublet to an individual who is running it as a hotel, or it is given to a commercial, hotel chains like OYO, Tribo, Fab. Now the problem what we are trying to solve is obviously the service standard. So post 2015, when this new hotel age that India saw with the revolution of OYO, we have came to a stagnant position, whereas we are getting the basic qualities that was earlier missing, but now the standard and the quality that is going on, that's not there, and there is a lot of confusion about it. So there is a confusion even as a consumer to me, that when I am booking a Lemon Tree, I don't know where I'm going. I'm going to an economical budget property, or I'm going to a luxury property. There is a confusion in my head, because 4,000 rupees I go to Radisson, or 3,000 rupees I go to Lemon Tree. So there is a confusion out there in the market that we are obviously trying to solve in a budget segment, that okay, below 2,000 rupees you would get some sort of clients. My main problem that I am currently facing is while scaling it. So when we are onboarding new properties, we are having this problem is obviously there at the back of the head. Even the partner who is agreeing with you right now does not mean that after 6 months he would be working with the same level of motivation and interest. There could be a disconnect after 2 or 3 months. So that problem is obviously there. But the initial problem that we are facing is while scaling it. When we are acquiring new properties, when we are transforming the property, when we are adding some life to the property, that is where the cost is occurring a lot, and we are, because not taking a considerable amount of commission out of the transaction, we are taking very less from the market, because we want to maintain that OPEX and CAPEX ka valid balance there, where the owner does not actually need to come and cheat for these kind of revenue increase or have some leakage with them. The cost of acquisition is something that I'm trying to raise fund for. So what should I consider initially in my deck that it should have, whereas I'm clearing this picture to the investor? And second, how do I value my current proposition? Because as I said, we are currently not in a scale mode. We are only operating with handful properties. We do not have that kind of a market establishment where people do know us. So how do we present ourselves with the brand valuation as well?
See, one thing is clear, and I can tell you, write it on stamp paper. If you go by this model of having multiple vendors, small scale players, operating small scale properties, you can never ever control the quality. Only method is you need to take over the property, do it yourself, then only you can control the quality. This is an established rule. Right? If you go by the model, then you should not claim about quality, because if you compare it with Oyo, they are doing their best, and I really know about it. They are doing their best to maintain the quality, but it is something beyond the human control. You can't control it. This is on the basis, the model itself has this flaw. If you are expecting a rickshawala to become a great 5-star waiter, not possible, right? That guy will definitely fizzle out. So same goes with a property dealer or somebody who has made good hell amount of money under the table buying a property, operating in on rent, will not be understanding what hospitality industry is, or will not be understanding the long-term benefits of having a recurring customer, right? That guy will think short-term, and that is the basic difficulty. So the solution is you need to build a model, either which is you take up the entire property and do it. Now, as far as the projection and approaching the investors is concerned, you need to not just acquiring customer is important here. Acquiring a reoccurring customer is the most important KPI. You're getting my point? Because the lifetime value of a customer is very, very high. A corporate employee or maybe a CEO of a startup would be traveling at least 10 times in a year, right? And staying in the hotels. If the same person looks for your hotels, then you have won. But if that person say किसी में रह लो इसके होटल में नहीं रहना, then you have lost the battle.
Correct.
So that is something you might get phenomenal scale up only basis of word of mouth. But if you think you keep on acquiring customers through Facebook, then you will be getting into the rat race fighting with biggies like Oyos, which is, I don't think so, a right way to go about it. In this race, nobody will ever be able to win, because they have hell lot of money to acquire the customers. Nobody can fight, this is what I feel, in acquiring the customers with biggies like them, Oyos or in Airbnbs. But you can definitely fight with them by limiting yourself to a number of properties and providing a very good service in-house through your own staff, which is salaried, which is entirely under your control. Okay? Thank you so much, and I think I can take one more question and then this will be all. Anjali, any other person?
So, Mr. Abhishek Tiwari, you can host.
Hi Shishir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Abhishek. Hi.
Shishir, first of all, I would like to thank you and your Startup Lanes team for guiding us, like how this ecosystem works. We had a call a month back, and now with your help and your guidance, our pitch deck is ready and we are almost ready for the demo day now. Okay, so thank you for that. I just have a small question with me. It will not take a lot of time.
Sure.
Shishir, the thing is that I want to know, how much return does a angel investor or a VC expects out of the fund he has infused in the company, and for how long they plan to stay in a company?
This return is a very specific word and subjective word in terms of understanding. So let me tell you, this return is not the return that a startup investor gets from the profits of a startup. Okay, this return is the return that an investor gets through something called exit. Exit is the technical term, which is when you sell off an equity for a profit for more than the price that you have bought it, then it is called an exit.
Okay.
This could be negative exit as well, right? But generally, it out of if you invest in 10 startups, 3 get successful. and this is a fact, 15% of the wealth is created by 85% of the wealth, sorry, is created by 15% of the investments. So not all your investments are rocket, but 2 or 3 investments are really, fast, and they move like rocket, and they give you very phenomenal returns, very good returns. So in this case, investors would be expecting a very good return. Very good means 300% or maybe 500% of the investment done, or maybe more than that. Sometimes investors expect 16x, 15x, 16x also is a good expectation in angel investment, because investor is also expecting that 7 of his investments will fail. So expecting 11 to 16x is not bad. And the only expectation any investor will have from a startup is to project and target becoming a unicorn in a span of 5 years. That means 7,500 crore of turnover. This is a very vague number because valuations might go up and down, but 7,500 crore is the valuation, that is, to become a unicorn, provided that dollar is 75 rupees, right? So in that scenario, they expect you to have at least 10% of that revenue to have that valuation, right? So if you are having those kind of targets in mind, 750 crore around or 700 crore in 5 years in revenue, then definitely investors will be happy. Anybody who understands this space will be happy to put in funds. So that's the most important thing.
And Shishir, just a small thing, like you said, if we are going for funding and we need to give some equity to the investors, right? So angel investors are part of people who come together to fund us, right? So how does that works? Like giving 10 or 12% of amount to different kind of people, and how does that work? Just in brief, if you can explain.
There is a very good fundamental in finance. All the portfolio managers suggest this, and you must have heard about this: diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because what if you invest in one company and that one company fails? So it is advisable to have mitigation. This risk mitigation could happen in something called small case. Small case means same industry, different startups, or it could have industry-wide, intra-industry, different industries investments. So that if one industry fails, like hotel industry failed, like travel industry failed because of COVID. So investors think about it. There were investors who have mitigated that risk without even knowing about it, because they have diversified into different industries. So on one side, this travel industry failed. On the other side, technology industry, edtech, or any kind of fintech, edtech, whatever you think about, has grown. And the reasons are very much simple to understand. Nobody is going out, so obviously people have time. They are spending time online. They will spend time in either educating themselves or maybe spending. Now if they are spending online, they have to utilize something from the fintech side of it. Either they will pay through Paytm or any other payment gateways, right? So fintech will definitely grow because more market money is coming into the market in the number one segment. And the parallel economy is like very much challenged, because for delivering cash to somebody you need to go out, right? And nobody is going out right now. So now they are also making transactions through bank. So automatically, if one industry is challenged, the other industry will be better in that case. That is called beta of the market. So if an industry has negative beta, that means risk. And if an industry has positive beta, make a mix of it. There are some startups which will be going up with the adversity like World War or any kind of pandemic. There are startups which will be going down, right? So if you invest in defense-based startups, so in case of war, automatically this will go up. If you invest in gold deposits-based startups, this will go up. Scarcity happens, right? All the prices of such kind of precious metals go up. Then on the other hand, if you invest in healthcare startups, any pandemic, these healthcare startups will perform better. So that is how you diversify, you invest in technology. Coming back to the point, so we always recommend investors to diversify in terms of industries, and to have small cases. Generally, investors pick up small cases because investors don't understand all the industries. Like a principal of a college, or maybe a dean, or maybe a chairman of a college would be happy to invest only in edtech startups. If you ask him to invest into AI or something, ML, which they don't understand, they might not be able to understand anything, and they will not put in funds. And this is not secondary market. So you need to understand this space. So generally what happens is, we recommend our investors to invest into different industries, but they don't. They prefer investing into the industry they know, and then the only diversification left is we ask them to invest into 20 startups if they have 1 crore. We ask them not to put 1 crore in one company, put these 5 lakh each into 20 companies, so that you have diversification into the entire industry. If the industry you expect is going to grow, like EdTech, everybody knows this industry will be growing now, right? So if you have to put in money into EdTech, put in 20 companies instead of putting in one company, so that your money, you are not out of the industry. Because similarly for founder as well as for us, if an investor lose money and is out of the industry, will not invest again and will take away 5 more investors. But if an investor has made money, will recommend this in his or her own friend circle, family and all, and will bring in more investors. So this is good for the industry. We have to give them such kind of options wherein their risk is minimized, mitigated, and they still make good amount of money. And that is, I'll tell you one fact also. This was an international research, global research. No investor has lost the capital if he or she has invested in 5 or more startups. So this is a rule. If you invest in 5 or more startups, you will never ever lose the capital on the basis of the past performance. But just like mutual fund, past performance is not will not depict the future also. So have your own appetite for risk as an investor, and you will, if you see who are the most known investors in India, they are the people who were the founders. They raised capital for their companies. They made themselves successful. Now they are investing because they have understood how much money is made. Then they are making good money by investing. Almost every startup founder who has been successful is investing.
Thank you, Shishir. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. So this takes us to the end of this session. Thank you so much. Namaste, and please come back again next time. And it gives me immense pleasure to interact with you.